pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Schulte here. Yep. Mr. Jones. Yep. Moore. Yep. Agenda for today. What was posted and made available previously. Any changes to that? Nope. Make deals with county rural water singular. Just a start on letter and leave it. I would take a motion on the agenda. Agenda for today. Everybody start first. We'll see it.
I can't hear it.
All in favor of the agenda printed and posted, signify with aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Next, we'll look at the minutes from our previous meeting, August 14. Draft of the tabling the tax evasion thing. I thought there was action on that. She's not in it. Please mark into that, and I keep us included. Comments or questions concerning the minutes or their approval? All those in favor of the minutes, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That's for September. Need for more than meetings on the 11th and the 25th, but Mr. Reed Jack Reed is working on one item that may require another meeting, but not sure on the timing of things yet, so indicated something like to call a special meeting, things proceeded to needing that, but it's not he said 13th is tentatively the date he's looking at a meeting for something after that.
We could always probably hold it over, sure. Yeah.
The 11th and the 25th for a regular meeting.
Make that motion. Support.
Support comments. Further discussion. All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item ambulance building maintenance and repairs.
What do you want to do?
I did not have it drawn to my attention specifically, or monitor, expressing concerns over items, or?
Yeah, the building to the very east, does use it to, confiscated our evidence. The roof needs to be repaired. It's really bad, and there's actually no siding on the building itself. So it's really rough, yeah. And then on the north side of the ambulance building itself that houses the rig, the bricks are starting to fall out. The roof is okay, so we put metal on there. Remember what that was? there's just some maintenance that needs to be done.
Have you guys been in that building lately? I would almost think with that shed, because that building is full. With, the ambulance stuff, and,
Two county
yeah,
cars.
2 county cars, the EMA trailer, and just everything that's stored in there. It'd be better off to put some pieces, put it in the building. Just a thought.
What is that other building, that tall building, what's that used for?
Evidence, storage. Doug uses it. That'll happen when we have that big building out by, see the old trucks out by the airport. And they move that steel building into secondary road, they use it now for storage. And that's where Doug used to put all this stuff.
Main ambulance building itself, I think we should just look into that.
That's a good building.
Motorcycles, some bricks will come around or something.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Could be being ordered or whatever.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about how you repair a brick.
Get John Smith fix that.
What about the one that needs, deal with that one?
The roof, you can't put metal on it, or?
I think the roof you could put metal over it, yeah.
It's all gonna be.
Yeah, there's no frame.
It's not good.
No, no.
I'd say first look at the cost,
Yeah,
and see where we're at.
Before, you're on the fund balance of this fiscal year, or plan for next budget cycle?
Just like this one, next budget cycle. That'll give us time to think about what we want to do.
Personally, I think we do that, a little more pressing than brick.
I'm not sure, I don't think it's just,
Okay.
it looks bad. It goes. That I don't know. That I don't know.
Are we getting rent for the storing of evidence and this and that, or?
No.
What about, do we still rent the building at Hawkeye Point? If we would have to, do we use that, or
The people that are living there are renting now.
they rent the building?
Yeah. I mean, we get that.
Yearly, monthly, what? So that's something we could possibly look at if we had to. I already own, it's already there. Just an idea.
Well, yeah. That's what we're working for,
Yeah, I'm not saying don't fix this if we have to, I'm just saying enforcing it works.
We have to have something in mind.
Yeah. I'd say if somebody look into the cost of what we would want. Tables till next month or file month or something.
yeah, give a better idea of what cost you're looking at, and make the determination if we proceed sooner rather than later.
But I think the main building too, the ambulance building, let's see what it costs to fix that.
Yeah.
And we should.
Something out there, give you an estimate.
Yeah.
Look into those figures. Opportunity to advertise in the welcome publication that the Gazette will be updating. We've had, Kelly had added there previously. What level was our ad?
Oh, really?
Economic development
We're gonna put them together. Yeah.
and
report that I gave, that you put that in.
I don't even remember, I don't have that one there. So I'll put that in.
What are you thinking, Jason, on this side?
I have no idea. Don't know.
Black and white quarter page would be sufficient, I can't think where, why we would need color. What would be used for it. Not most paint maybe,
I don't think that road will go this quarter. That's just what it looks. Public.
quarter page black and white. They'll look at what was, send out what has been used previously, or proofs of what. Motion support for quarter page black and white and okay, publication, further discussion.
It doesn't.
All those in favor signify with aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. None that remains, we'll wait on one of us Aboriginal copy. Somebody letter.
You want to tell them, like, if they have one, they can hold one.
Yeah, it'd be great.
County rural water agenda item.
Sure. Good morning, gentlemen. My name is Doug Westerman, General Manager of Osceola Rural Water. I do have along with me today, our engineer Dan Nevelsick. Had to meet with him today anyway. So instead of going to Rock Rapids and do this legislatively, we're going to meet after the meeting and talk about other things. It's my understanding that the Osceola County Board of Supervisors had received information regarding a potential project we have coming up. That would have been due to our application to rural development for potential funding. This is not a project that we are for sure, but as we continue to address the needs of folks wanting water, we are to a point, at least with our water plant in Union City, that is just about out of capacity. As you're probably aware, we're a multi-county regional water system. Even though the name is Osceola County Rural Water, it's a little bit misleading, but we serve all of Osceola County, all of Bryan County. Half of Dickinson County, half of Lyon County. We have customers in Cherokee County and in 2 counties in Minnesota, Jackson and Holt. As well as we sell water to Greystone Rural Water and other. That being said, as far as one of our projects that's currently in the books, we're adding on to and expanding at our south water plant, which is now Sutherland. Adding some more wells, and that's getting, hopefully to be wrapped up yet this winter. As far as the north plant is concerned in May City, we're to a point where I've asked the board of directors that we may want to consider a moratorium. We're to a point where we've got to think about not adding any new customers, because the water plant is basically out of capacity. And what I mean by that is we're not in any danger of not being able to supply all the water needs today. In fact, the water plant is designed to be able to treat water at a rate of 4,800 gallons a minute, almost 5,000. Currently today with our peak demands this summer, we're up to 4,200 gallons a minute. So you feel like you've got a nice buffer there. But things to keep in mind are, say, the Assembly, for instance, we have reserve capacity for them, 650,000 gallons a day. They currently only use about 300 for their peak day. And they, have another business coming to town. There'd be an additional 300,000 gallons we have to supply to them. So we have to keep that reserve, not only for Sibley, but there's other bulk users that we have that don't use all of their allocation. And so on paper, we're basically out of water. We continue to get new requests for water. As you know, animal agriculture continues to grow. Hog barns, dairies, cattle yards. And so the board of directors is faced with, are we going to start turning people away, or do we want to look to the future and being able to serve those customers? If so, how can we do that? We grab water from the Main City, the Ochean River Longview Aquifer. That's where all of our most of our water comes from, which is in the Main City bottom, if you will. That is a finite water source and something that could be eventually overpumped if you continue to drill more wells, for instance. I don't feel that we're there yet, but one way to expand our ability to serve water would be to expand our footprint further away from the water plant and drill more wells. That comes along with a cost of distribution pipeline or raw water main to bring that water back to the plants, and that has a dollar cost to it. On top of that, the DNR has charged us with thinking about what can we do to mitigate drought. If you recall, there was the drought of 2012, 2013. The wells that we have, those static water levels dropped significantly. We were still able to provide the water needs, but if that drought had continued for another year or two, things may have been different. And so, to be able to mitigate that, or something more of an extended drought in the future would be to, there again, expand our footprint out further away with more wells. So you have more wells, but you pump less gallons per minute for each well to get rid of the drought. That's an option. But the other option might be to take advantage of another water source that's right below us. That's the deep well, the Dakota Sandstone Aquifer. The water quality is really low, but it's there. And there are different ways to treat that water. And so one thought is to mitigate drought in the future is to drill more deep wells, have them on standby, so if the drought hits, we can turn them on and use them. The thing is, it costs a lot of money to drill a few deep wells, especially deep wells that are big enough and significant enough to bring enough water into our plant to serve the needs that we have currently. And so if we're looking at investing a few $1 million into several deep wells, wouldn't you want to take advantage of that water and utilize it? Well, our customers would not be happy with that deep well water, first of all.
That's what Sibley used to have. It's not good.
Well, as another caveat on top of that, the water of the deep well within our location is higher in sulfates, and a large majority of our water that is sold goes to high stuff. And the sulfate would be high enough such that if we didn't try to mitigate that, agriculture producers we looked at the possibility of doing something called livestock there to tame that water, clean it up, and that would work really well, but it doesn't get rid of the sulfates. And so another option would be to potentially do reverse osmosis in the treatment process. And we're currently doing a pilot study on that to see, is it something that's feasible? If it is, that does remove the sulfates. And it would be more expensive to reverse osmosis every drop of water that we have. So the thought might be, if we do that, it could be a blending process. We could reverse osmosis only a certain portion of deep well water, blend that in with our existing shallow wells, and the water quality would go up from what it currently is a little bit. Depending on how much we want to invest in the production of water, we could make it a lot better. But in an effort to maybe not drive up the cost of the water so much as do just enough that we clean up the deep well water really well, and then blend it in with our shallow wells. I guess serve water that way. If a severe drought were to hit at some point in time, and we had to discontinue the shallow well use, we still have deep well water to be able to send out the door. Now, some of the caveats on that are, when you do reverse osmosis, there's a discharge of water, it's a reject water, and you need to get rid of that somehow. And one way to do that would be to put that into the Ocheyedan River. So it would be supplementing the flow of the river. However, that would be with water that is higher in minerals. And so there has to be a certain proportion of flow that the DNR requires. And so one might ask, if there was a drought, then you might not be able to discharge into that river, so you're not going to be reverse osmosing the deep well water anyway. True, but we'll still have water. And so that's kind of the big picture in a nutshell. I do have, since I was going to meet with Dan today anyway, I brought him along because he can detail some of the technical aspects of some of the discharging the water into the river, and I don't know if you'd like to address that.
Sure. So as we talked with Department of Natural Resources, what they look at is how low the flow in that river gets, and statistically once every 10 years. And as you guys probably know, when it gets dry, there isn't much flow in the river, and that's what the statistics show. And so we went and met with the DNR, and they asked us to look if there's other approved discharges in the area that you could use to supplement the flow to blend your water with. And so we started looking up and down the river to see what else is out there. The city of Ocheyedan has a discharge permit, but they don't have the volume really there to be effective. So the other one that we found is the gravel pit discharge permit that Osceola County has for the gravel pit. And so we kind of looked at what the permitted levels are there, what the maximum reported discharges have been in the last 10 years, and there'd be enough room in the discharge permit that the county has to be able to supplement flows during those low periods of flow and discharges in the river under your current permit to supplement that flow, so the rural water system would be able to discharge in our region. So one of the challenges that we have is, you might talk to people that are familiar with that aquifer, and they'll say, oh, there's tons and tons of water there, and that's very true. So there's 50, 60 feet of just saturated gravel there. But what happens is you pump that, especially during the drought, you drop the top level of that, and the rivers tied in really close to that water table. And Osceola had an instance where they were actually had flow upstream of the well field, where water disappeared through their well field and came back up downstream again. So the DNR is really pushing Osceola to go out and find other resources, because even though there's technically water there, it starts, as you pump that during the drought, it impacts the water table in the aquifer, and there's to the point where they're setting thresholds to shut those wells off. During this last drought, we monitored water levels, and they lost over 2,000 gallons a minute of production capacity due to the decline in the water levels So that's kind of our goal here, is to look for a source that's drought susceptible, hopefully find another permitted water use that's already in the area that we can supplement the river flow so they can continue to discharge during the drought conditions. And that's, I believe that's, Doug sent a letter to Aaron, your county engineer, a couple months back, and I think that's kind of what we're looking for is a partner there. I think that's a mutually beneficial relationship there, where there's a permitted volume of water that the county isn't using right now, and by doing that, it's going to allow Osceola to continue to add Osceola water to continue to serve customers within your county to provide economic development. Another issue that's happened during when you dewater there before, you've dropped the water table and impacted some other local residents in the area. And had to go in and do work for wells, and one thing Osceola's offering is to actually go in and give them a water service, so that when you're doing your gravel pit mining, they provide them water from Osceola at no cost, up to, I think, 9,000 gallons a month, which should be more than enough to handle, a typical water user. And so just trying to find some beneficial uses there.
How often would we have to discharge?
How often, out of
As the county tenants?
so there's some years that you wouldn't have to discharge at all, there's plenty of river flow all year long. And
Let's say a dry year.
And so we kind of look back at that, and there's some years that it might be 200 to 250 days a year, that there might have to be something being discharged out there. And so we looked at the volumes that you have to discharge versus what you have for a permit versus what you reported for discharges. It looks like there's enough room in there to be able to do that. So just to simplify that process, right now there's quite a bit of work that goes into setting up dewatering equipment and things like that. One thing we proposed, we kind of showed in those maps, is just to put in some dewatering walls along the west side of those pits, and that way they're out of your way when you're doing gravel mining operations. I don't think the pit can move any closer to the roads due to setbacks. And then when Osceola water needs to supplement river flow, it's just a matter of just flipping the switch on, you just discharge it into the ditch there, which flows into the river. So just trying to make it simple, so it doesn't impact your operations, and it still provides the supplemental flow that the rural water system needs to be able to run their own plants.
So you'd be piggybacking off our permit, basically?
What's that?
Did you be piggybacking off of our permit, basically, for discharge?
Correct, yeah, the discharge would be occurring under the permit that you have active right now. We talked with the DNR, there'd probably be a slight modification required in there to do that with the watering wells as opposed to pump straight out of the quarry, but that sounds like a pretty important modification. And any permit fees, modification fees, effort to do that, the rural water system would pay for any of the permitting side of that to get to the point where that's all approved and ready to go.
So where are we at, where are you guys at as far as, what is your biggest reason? Because for a drought, or how close are we to run out, or whatever, what were those figures you had?
When you say running out, I'm talking about capacity of the water plant, the ability for it to treat water.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about how much water is available in the aquifer.
So what's your reason for doing this then?
To do a plant expansion,
Yeah.
is so that we don't have to say no to customers.
Yeah, but how much, you're gonna add another line to the lakes, the way I understand, right?
Sure, yep.
And I understand you're gonna do that to cover the cost of digging the wells, but are we robbing Peter to pay Paul on that deal then, or?
So,
I mean, why not just,
That's a great question.
why do it? What?
They can put some wells in the lake.
Yeah.
Why not the footprint?
so I guess the way the Osceola rural water, they currently serve a little over 400 customers along Lake Okoboji. That water currently comes from Guilford, And their water continues to get more and more expensive. It's very difficult to treat the water out of the lake itself. There aren't good aquifer options around the lakes area, which is a reason why nobody drills any wells there. Everybody's on a rural water system or on a municipal system there. So there's a few options along the Little Sioux, but there's been exploration there. Nobody's found really good wells. And so there's a couple purposes of what you're looking at there, of that pipeline that would go over to the Koichi Tower. One is that serves a pretty good portion of the rural area, in the eastern tier of Osceola County. There's some really poor pressures in Allison Township there, and so this pipeline would be routed through that area, increase service to that area. This pipeline also, when it was installed, was with glue joint pipe, and it has had problems since day one. There's a repair coupler on every single piece of pipe out there, and so this would be an opportunity to isolate some of that, identify leaks, and possibly abandon some of that really poor pipe. That also would benefit the rural areas. And so, while it's true that there's capacity here to serve the lakes area, really it's only about 100,000 gallons a day that they'd be taking out of this new line to serve the lakes area. Everything else there, it's a 12-inch line or proposed right now is to build a portion of the 12-inch line that can deliver over 1 million gallons a day. So less than 10% of that.
Well, from a cost standpoint, that's a lot of pipes for 400 feet.
But it's not for them. 10% of that is for them, and likely only the first about 10 miles would be built right now. And so what you're seeing right here is we have to do an environmental clearance, and we have to send out what the proposed project could be. And so, this is just some options, and we just cover what the total project might look like, and depending on what demand's growing here, eventually there's more and more of this pipe that would need to be built. What we're talking about right now is building about the first 10 miles from the water treatment plant out into just about 3 miles of the ditch.
So now you have a dry year, and you have to rely solely on the deep well. Is there going to be enough RO capacity to treat that? Because you're not talking about pulling a full RO system, but if that's your only source of water, how do you treat the rest of that water if you only have enough to do partial to do blending?
Sure.
It wouldn't be treated.
Yeah. So, our goal isn't to completely replace, because even in this last step, there was still some capacity. Even though they lost 2,000 gallons a minute, they still had 2,000 to 3,000 gallons a minute.
That's your worst case scenario. What's your plan? If you have to rely solely on the deep wells. So you just send out untreated water.
So we can take deep well water and route that through the original plant. And Osceola does that now during the drought conditions. So that'll take out the iron manganese, so you can get rid of the black and red staining. But right now, that's all their plant does. And so that water, that deep well, has sulfates over 1,000 milligrams per liter. It's got hardness up around 70 to 80 grams per gallon.
That's from solvents in my top percent or anywhere.
Right. And so it's just.
I don't know, they're getting hard to watch. But in your scenario, we're already in trouble, because we don't have the capacity for the deep wells now, and we're in that drought. The shallow wells are already.
That's what let's say we don't do this project, we don't dig deep wells. In that worst case scenario, we have only shallow wells to rely on. What if they go dry? Now you've got nothing. We're proposing to have something.
Do I understand this discharging permit process correctly, that you're piggybacking on the county's discharge from the pits that we have? Do you have the option to get your own discharge permit, and then could you just blend raw deep well water in with the RO discharge to get to the levels that would be acceptable, or is that not something that's been researched, or not possible, or way off?
So there's a couple issues. If you take deep well water and blend that in, that comes in, so sulfate is our limiting factor. The water that you pump out of the ground here is less than 100 milligrams per liter of sulfates. and the water that you're pumping out of the deep well is 10 times that or more.
Yeah.
And so you
And the
have,
concentrations, once you treat it and discharge that, is.
right, are up over 3,000, and we need to be 3,000 or 4,000, and we need to be hitting something around 2,000. And so it takes a lot more water.
Yeah.
The other issue that we have is iron, and so there's iron limits on what you can discharge, and by the time you concentrate all that up in your RO reject, if you have water that's high in iron coming out of your iron, then you also have iron limitations on what you can discharge. So it's best if you can find a higher quality source to blend and discharge. Plus it's, with having this water accessible at a shallow, you know, essentially at the ground surface, it's cheaper to access that than drilling a bunch of extra deep wells to be able to do that discharge.
When you do that first 10 miles, will that help the pressures, you know, also kind of, yeah.
Well, it don't look like it's anyplace else. It'll go down, won't it?
No. Where would you be concerned about the pressure?
Well, I'll be honest, I live right by the edge of Melvin, I'm on the fire department, and if we have a serious fire in Melvin, we don't have enough water supply in Melvin to take care of a fire, because we don't have enough pressure.
Right.
And our insurance rates in the town, they've threatened to go, because we can't cover, big, fire.
Sure. And rural water systems aren't designed to provide fire protection. They're just, in a municipal setting like Melvin or Sibley, they go in and put in oversized pipe, they go directly from an elevated tank, they put in thicker wall pipe so that you can handle the surge pressures and the stresses that are put on a system when you're opening and closing fire hydrants. And a rural water system was built back in the 70s and 80s, you know, with just enough to provide livestock and domestic demands. There's no extra capacity there built in for fire protection. So for communities that want to provide fire protection, that's got to come from storage within the communities to do that. But yeah, you're right, Melvin doesn't have
More individual, business entities that, the ethanol plant had to provide their own storage,
Right.
water storage amount to address fire.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just not an economical thing that rural water systems can provide. We have excessive amount of construction costs plus the amount of volume of water aids that you have for trying to provide fire protection in these huge, distribution systems. You have water quality issues all over the place, so you want to be turning the water over. We actually looked at that for Melvin, like what it would take. Essentially, you have to build a pipe from Melvin all the way back to Melvin Tank, probably be a 12-inch line. And with the water that Melvin uses, it'd be weeks just to turn that pipe line over once. So just.
What about adding a 4,000 pound area to that line? Is that effective at all?
Does it affect the
Pressure
pressure?
that Melvin gets, because it's goes before Melvin. I'm taking my supervisor hand off a little bit.
Yeah, and so.
I'm a farmer, and I've been a rural water member for years, and our rates keep going up, and all we keep doing is building and pumping water all over the place.
Right, and so we've done a rate study, and what adding new customers to Osceola rural water system does is it keeps rates low. And so, yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, but it seems that the larger they get, the higher my rates go. When in fact, if you're saying that the more volume that you push out should make everything cheaper.
Right, and so you are seeing rate increases, but the rate increases haven't even been at the cost of inflation. Whereas Osceola's expenses, or raw expenses, have been accelerating faster than the rate of inflation. We've got electrical costs going up 5 to 10% every year. You've got chemical costs going up significantly more than that. Labor costs go up. And so really what's allowed Osceola to maintain some of the least expensive water in the region is the fact that they have been growing, that they have been adding people. And so like for just kind of circle back to the city of Melvin, Melvin has a contract for the amount of water, just like Sibley has a contract for the number of gallons that they can provide every day. And we make sure before we add any new customers that customer isn't going to impact the ability to provide water service to the people Osceola Rural Water's contracted to provide, and it's not going to have a significant adverse impact to the pressures of the surrounding customers. I mean, we run those user requests weekly, some weeks daily, and that's what we're looking at, is here's the existing pressures, here's the new pressures, here's the improvements that you need to do to return those, pressures back up to an acceptable level.
So as far as adding the dairy that's south of Melvin there, will it provide less flow to your fire hydrants now that we've added them? Yes, it will. But, we're not providing fire protection to the city. And your pressure for taking a shower in the house, should remain unchanged. So, less it is, okay?
At what point have you expanded out your footprint enough to where you don't need to keep adding people on?
So
What's the end goal for this? Because you don't want to turn away people for water, but at what point is it big enough to where you tapped all of our assets out water-wise, to where, how big does it really need to be?
So Osceola Rural Water's footprint isn't growing. I mean, it's
The customers are growing.
the customers within there, and so I guess, the density of livestock in Osceola County compared to Lyon County, compared to Sioux County is nothing. And so, really, that probably depends more on what the future of the agricultural growth is going to be. And so, the rural population is declining. There's not going to be a significant new demand from new housing developments in rural areas, and even if there are, those are pretty minor in the grand scheme of things. Which really is going to drive it is ethanol plant wanting water, dairies, hog confinements, poultry facilities. But those are really the drivers of water demand. And I guess I can't speak for Osceola's board, but what I've observed is that their goal is, as an organization, is to provide the water needs of the customers within their service territory. And what that allows is economic growth. And it increases tax base, it increases valuations in this. And what we've observed elsewhere is when you have that growth, that's a really good basis and backbone for sustaining economic growth and development.
But we're shipping a lot of that water out. That's what, we're driving growth other places besides here.
Right, there is some of the water that comes out of the Bay City Basin that goes to other areas.
What about Lewis and Clark? Is that ever a viable option, or?
The city of Sibley is a member, there's no ability to get new water from Lewis and Clark.
Osceola Rural Water was initially a member of Lewis and Clark, but they ultimately decided to withdraw during the process.
As you, within the next 2 years, they're gonna get to Sheldon?
Yeah, I mean, your guess is as good as mine on what the federal government's gonna give them for money. They just did a segment from the main line in South Dakota towards the Iowa border.
9 miles from Sioux Center towards the river to it.
Yeah, and so the state of Iowa spent some money into that in the hopes to get paid back, and so that they're working towards that, but essentially, Osceola was in the same boat that Sheldon's been in for a long time, and Hull's been in, is that they had to sign up for this water 30 years ago, and if Osceola Rural Water would have sat here and not done anything for the last 30 years, they still have a 1,200 gallon minute plant sitting there waiting for Osceola to tell them no, say no to absolutely everybody. So they haven't done that. They've expanded from 1,200 to 24, and then 24 to 48. Every time that has come along, people have been there to buy the water.
If I read this right, they have to discharge, 3 times in the last 12 years, if you needed the water discharge?
The county discharge out 3 times, that's what we've observed in the records that you submitted.
And that wouldn't change, no, technically.
One comment that just points out is you're recommending or looking at, if we were to be able to partner with the county as to put some dewatering wells in. You mentioned that the dewatering well might be better for, tell me more about the iron, or something like when you discharge water from a dewatering well, the water clarity of that discharge water? In other words, what I'm trying to get at here is that I know that when you have dewatered in the past with your equipment, there have been, I'll call it a plume or dirty water, or there can only, what I'm trying to get at here is if something were to come to fruition here, would this be something that we would say when the county is doing their own dewatering activities, they would be able to use that same equipment? Yes or no? Sure. Would it be helpful for them?
Yeah, so that'd be something that equipment wouldn't be available, as well as be available, and it's valuable for you to dewater that. We've also talked about maybe some improvements. When you discharge out of here, you actually discharge across Osceola Rural Water property. There's some improvements that can be made there with taking out some waterways to stop water from backing up on your property, putting in a small detention basins to try to help establish, just to help that fire clarity. So a few things like that we could continue to work together to do that better. And then, yeah, that would be available, but in talking with the contract that's used for doing the dewatering, he didn't anticipate that those dewatering wells would prevent him from having to do the same or similar work to what he's done in the past.
I think you mentioned his pump is going to be, the amount of water we're talking about is not near enough for their dewatering activity.
Correct, yeah.
According to you. I'm just trying to get an idea to the board about what are we talking about here for a dewatering well, how much water are we looking to use? It sounds like it's not near enough, like if they wanted to do their gravel mining, this likely wouldn't be able to replace the current that they do it. Not that they couldn't also use this equipment,
But then if you're piggybacking off of our permit and we need to dump water, how much of it, how do you keep track of how much I got left of this year?
Yeah, so we would need to have a way to monitor flow rates so that you can do that reporting. And what we've looked at is that you could discharge the maximum that you've ever discharged in the last 10 years, and there still would be enough left in your permit to do what we're talking about with Osceola Rural Water. And if there isn't, if there's not enough cushion there, we work with the DNR to see if that permit can be expanded, and just increase the water withdrawal. And if this isn't something that you're comfortable with or interested in doing, I mean, there's other avenues that we could pursue. This is just an existing permit with an organization that we feel has a mutual interest in benefiting from this water. And so if we can work something out with the county that it simplifies the permitting process, it'll be less expensive because they don't have to be going by land or try to find another gravel pit or try to work that one out. But at the end of the day, it's, I mean, I guess you ask what we're looking for, is just kind of a direction to go. Is this something that you're willing to explore? Is it not something you're willing to explore? Go look elsewhere. It's more just a direction so that Osceola Rural Water knows how to plan for the future.
How many people did you say again will be affected with water interruption with this? That you're gonna hook up?
like when they do their dewatering activities, I think is what you're asking.
Yeah, and you said you would be hooking
Oh,
people
okay,
up.
I'm sorry. I believe there's two local, like, private wells within a half mile of the quarry to the north. That in the past, when you dewater, you've had issues with taking the water away from those wells. And so what we talked about doing is providing those silver water and service to those two sites.
Is that enough? You got 300 gallons a day, 9,000 a month. Should that be expanded?
So, when you look at those sites, they're not livestock facilities, and average.
The one to the west of the livestock, is that not in the, doesn't have a well, or?
Yeah, I guess that, we're not sure how much water they're using, we're just,
I think there's an irrigation pivot
To the west.
across the road from that
That's
as
what,
well.
that's a livestock facility.
yeah, so maybe we're not talking or thinking about the same sites, but I guess the goal there would be to provide mitigation when you're dewatering, if there's something impacted, those still will want to provide water service. And if it's necessary, the goal there in putting some sort of limit on that is just to, say, oh, we got this for free, let's just let it run. And so, if they've got a legitimate need of livestock that they can demonstrate need for that water, I guess if I talk to Doug, I'm sure they'd be willing to work with them. Our goal there was just to be able to set a reasonable limitation so there's not wasteful use.
Yeah, for serving these people water, this is for when the county's doing their dewatering activities. We're looking at ways, yes, this will benefit us. What are ways that we can give back to you to make it beneficial for you? In other words, if we don't do anything here, and in the future you dewater, you're still potentially going to get complaints from those neighbors. And we were just thinking of, if this is something that you'd be interested in partnering with us, that's something we're putting onto the table. We're just offering to you that during your period for the dewatering for mining, that we can help mitigate the complaints of the county by providing water to those folks. That's just something we're thinking about.
I'd be interested in pursuing this personally.
I'd like to get the engineer's input.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to have him,
Yeah.
the discussion before the final decision, but I think it looks like it's of value. It's only just for the system that is vital to many in our county.
Yeah, we should visit with Aaron about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're not trying to pull something. I haven't expected him to be here today, hoping you could kind of chime in on it, give his 2 cents, but absolutely take this to Aaron and see what his thoughts are, his concerns are. But we're not trying to do something that's going to impede what you're trying to do there. We're trying to find something that's going to be mutually beneficial.
So I think a few things, a couple of key points is economic development, not just for today, but in the future. But if you're going to do, and you're going to be successful at providing water to more growth in the county, we need to also be cognizant of there could be a drought, and we need to be able to mitigate for that. And this is kind of what we're looking at possibly doing. And part of that involves the, during times when there's not a drought, to utilize that bad water source and make it desirable during times of not drought. Granted, if a severe drought hits and we don't have deep wells, we're still going to have trouble. But might it be nice to have deep wells even if we're not treating it as well as we could? That also being said, let's say the drought is so severe that there's no flow in the river. I think I've heard before that it's tougher on fish with no water versus some flow. Just a thought. Doesn't mean that when there's a severe enough drought, let's say there might be no flow in the river, I don't know that necessarily means that the gravel pit is dry. And so there could still be pumping out of the gravel pit into the river to create flow. Anyway.
I understand the drought years, if there's concern for wet years, you're still gonna need to discharge even when flow rates are high, to address that, or.
So we're talking about a discharge of about 800 gallons per minute, which is about 1 cubic foot per second. So if you look at this year when it was flooding at, how many thousands of cubic feet per second, we're gonna have one. So it's really, in the grand scheme of things, insignificant. So yes, we would have to have provisions to be able to discharge there. That's gonna have no measurable impact on anyone else stream.
Do you recall any numbers about if we're adding 1 cubic foot per second, what kind of flow the river's supposed to have?
We need about 4 cubic feet per second to be able to discharge what? Make sure that we're pursuing where we could get down to a 2-to-1 ratio, if we can demonstrate 100% mixing, that's part of what you got to be able to demonstrate is that you can fully mix that at the point, we can get down to a 2-to-1 ratio, but we're kind of planning for a 4-to-1 if we're not able to demonstrate 100% mixing at the discharge point. It all depends on the mixing study that is done during the design process.
And the reason I kind of bring that up, you talk about we need 4 CFS or cubic feet per second in that river for us to discharge it. Currently, when we're supposed to monitor the river by our Harms wells, if it drops below 20 CFS, we're supposed to start taking measurements of wells and water level and that type of thing. If I look back at it's been raining a lot here lately, but back when it was dry last time, maybe 18 months ago or something, I think we got as low as 16 CFS or something like that. The point I'm trying to make here is, it's not like these dewatering wells will be used a lot. In a time of drought, yes, probably, or when it's been pretty dry for a long time. There traditionally is a fair amount of flow that's needed to do the mixing in the river. But you don't want to set yourself up and invest all the time, effort, and money if you don't have the opportunity to add river flow. So if we were not to come to fruition on something like this, it's not like it's gonna necessarily put the brakes on it. I just know that if we're going to do a reverse osmosis treatment, we have to get the DNR's blessing on that. And I don't think they're going to necessarily want to give us that blessing unless we can show that we have provisions for increasing flow of the river during times of drought.
Well, how are you gonna get the water down there in a time of drought if you've got a wellhead dam up by those wells? How does that water get there?
So water doesn't go over the dam.
In a dry year, you're not gonna get enough flow to get that over, to get enough flow down to where you need to discharge. So I'm not sure how that would work with that instruction there in order to get that amount of volume in a dry year to get you the water you need to discharge.
So even with that wellhead dam there, there's gonna have to be flow moving past that, around and over it, to be able to maintain flow downstream. That's the requirement here, they're not gonna let that stop river flows. But the idea here is just to, you're gonna have some base flow there, however small it is, and this should supplement on top of that to just get it up to the level that we need.
I've seen how dry that river gets in a dry year, so I'm really not sure how you would get that flow down there with the dam.
So you're thinking that it would just completely disappear into the stream bed?
There wouldn't be enough volume to get the volume of water you needed that far downstream from where that's located.
Right, yeah, and that's one of the concerns that we have, is just, is that water actually going to make it there? And like you said, there might be some situations that the drought so severe, you're discharging 4, 5, or 6 CFS and it doesn't make it there. And there'll be provisions that we have within the treatment process, it'll change water quality, where we're not going to be able to treat with RO, but we're still going to be able to provide water. Sulfates will go up, hardness will go up, iron and manganese levels will go up, but there'll still be water to provide. But outside of that, there's going to be a lot of other times about, it's just a matter of making sure that there's contingency plans for the worst case scenario, because for the majority of the time, finding the system that should work.
That issue is something that they're gonna need to clarify or clear up with the DNR and address those concerns and make sure that that's done properly, which has an impact on this, I don't disagree, but it's somewhat separate from consideration to partner in that way.
We'll have a stepwise permit, so it'll have to measure flow, and so when the flow hits this level, if that flow isn't there, they'll have to stop discharging, or reduce discharge, or completely stop. There'll be steps along the way. And if it doesn't work, we'll either have to stop or figure out other ways to supplement flow.
This is off the subject, weren't you gonna dig some wells west of the, in your property west of the plant too? We had some information, was it last week, last month, or, did you have it there earlier, Ed?
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's just, that was a map that showed like some wells, that's actually the deep well that we're talking about. So that's also part of this whole environmental assessment that we have to go through, we have to issue information about where those deep wells would go. And there's actually, on the site plan, there's a site 5 different deep wells, within that. Well, there's one straight south of the plant that we're looking at drilling, I don't even know if it's made back to the south.
It's on there.
Yeah, and then there's 4 across the road in that quarter section that we'd be looking at adding in. Those would be the 5 deep wells that would be built to provide water over to the, to a reverse osmosis plant.
Further, gentlemen, or? Certainly entertain the request and good thoughts of proceeding on this, but, I agree that it'd be good to consult with our engineer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Further information and opinions.
Okay.
Yeah, but, and if you ever need us to come over and answer some more questions, or something else, then, pretty quick, just over here, so. Okay. Well, thank you for your consideration of your time this morning.
Thanks, Ed.
For your time.
Just one more question, will that affect our mining at all, or is that an engineering, is that our engineering's? It's a department,
It shouldn't have any impact to your mining. Our goal there was to site the wells in the area that you can't mine in.
No, I understand that, but I didn't know if it would affect, I guess, any other way, you know.
So if your staff is there performing mining operations, they're gonna have to be water, and if you're doing that, there's no need for, it could be completely redundant, so they could completely shut off everything that they're doing and not interfere in any way with that.
If we were discharging prior to you to go mining, if anything, at a small level, we've helped you out by getting rid of some of the water that you're gonna get rid of and, you know, impact that I think, I guess.
We'll have you just pump all the water. Then we don't have. All right.
And if you wouldn't mind, Jerry, I'm not sure of your pressure issues, but I'd be more interested to follow up with that another time.
Okay.
Be interested to hear what you have to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. High water bills are through the roof.
I am, that's, I just tell you that.
Looking.
I could have done it, trying to get my way.
Everything is going crazy. You did a pretty good job using that.
Yeah,
Pay the bills.
Thank you.
for sure.
Yeah, I have on the sneak, so that one, so probably all the time.
Actually,
And, I wish I would have signed the 2 years.
you told me that a while back, yeah.
And look on mine.
And I was just thought I'm going off what we had to do, but my antenna was done, it was good as a cable.
Well, I was down there at State Fair, and they got a new antenna that'll pick up.
Yeah, I actually got that too.
Did they break one of these windows, or was it always chunk out of there?
remember noticing that before, but
either.
I'm almost observant.
Drainage in West Warren now, kind of quit, or are they on lunch break?
Pretty good.
Pretty long lunch break.
And maybe Ernie did ask him to stop during the meeting, Bart mentioned that it gets loud and distracting, maybe he asked him to wait out the meeting, I'm not sure. Oh, I wish.
I was hoping we were gonna be done pretty quick.
And we can't get into that, it's up in my short, they're not on.
I was hoping they'd get done talking pretty quick.
Got other important things to go through today, or you just thought it was gonna be an early one?
No, I just have to go back to that, that's what I was hoping they.
And then I keep talking.
I've got a pretty good meeting coming up this afternoon yet, so. Hopefully I can get that put together. It almost makes you wonder, you leave for a few days, makes you wonder if it's worth it.
That's true. For me, anyway.
Yeah, just to get home, it's just, everything's piled on top of each other. But it was fun to get away for a couple days.
There you go.
First time we went down to Florida, a friend of ours had a 100th birthday.
Oh.
So that was kind of neat to watch her out on the dance floor.
There you go. Mark, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So when the tax levies for the fire departments are levied,
Mm-hmm.
do the trustees do that,
Mm-hmm.
and they have sole?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, yeah, we don't have no.
Well, I didn't think so, but I didn't have a few questions about that the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Huh?
I'm not
No,
sure.
besides the broken.
Oh, I never noticed it before.
Yep.
Did Ernie ask him to stop over the meeting, or?
No, I think it started raining.
Yeah, it would have been pretty good there for a little while.
Yeah.
I'd like to see something done with these roads.
All right, Northwest Iowa Regional Housing Trust Fund incorporated letter. Indicates that we are committing to a local match and gathering it just one quarter. My reading of it was one quarter action indicating that consent.
I would probably support that, Jason, but, first, I talked a little bit about last month. They used some of them funds, and I missed the last week, so I gotta apologize for that, but Pam kept brought me up to date on it. For, apartments, people that own apartments, and they're trying to tie it in with the income of their tenants, but old Pam and I struggle with it a little bit. So, I'm not against supporting it, but I would like to see where that goes for next year, just kind of a way out of for everybody.
Should be for the tenants, not the
Well, that is my thoughts, and we'll see how they, it's gonna be really hard to keep track of, I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree, I don't know that I like that approach either, but it's just been approved by that board.
Yep, and it was, and I'm not gonna lie, I missed the meeting, and like I said, I kind of completely spaced it off, but but I did talk to Pam about it. Her and I are, she's the Osceola County rep for realtors. Kind of both are on the same page with it, but we'll just see how it goes. If you need a motion for, do you need a motion for that or anything or not?
Yeah, we do.
I'll make that motion. Go ahead.
In response to the trust fund letter, all those in favor of that support, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Yeah, personally, I would encourage you to try to move back away from that decision that you made, but.
We'll see how, well, maybe it'll be the best thing for us.
Yeah.
We'll give it a chance.
Okay. I'm sorry, I kind of looked at the emails as to the next step, review the process of job evaluation concerning the engineer's contract. We extended the contract by 2 months. Reached out to Jack Reed, he provided some items to you for evaluation and the job description and things like that by email. And, Rochelle is printing out a few copies of those items now.
Just trying to think, have we ever had a contract with any of the other engineers? I don't think we ever did with Tom, I don't think we ever did with Charlie.
As far as the chart.
Okay.
Right, Bart?
I don't remember with Charlie.
Which is probably necessary since there are elements that they receive in their position that are in excess of the personnel policy contract.
Probably get us to 6 hours.
Just once,
Just curious.
is that treasure?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people walk away with them over there, so.
I think they do. So yeah, no sense in having good.
We actually approved it, I just talked a little bit about, talked about that last month. They used some of that money for apartments.
Oh, yeah.
And Pam and I both were kind of on the fence about that, but we'll see how that.
Send that email that you sent you guys?
Yeah, but I thought as we're sitting here looking at it, it's gonna be hard to,
Right.
some emails and. So we'll go with that all around. What's another one?
Where are we at?
Job evaluation.
Yeah, we're taking the action to extend his contract for 2 months and figure out how we want to do an evaluation and consider longer contract or we want the contract to expire and he just remains our engineer and we no longer are under contract. I don't know.
Did he ask
That's
for
one
that?
option or.
How have you guys done that in the past?
I think, Charlie, I don't know that we extended the contract, I think he just, the contract went away and then he just remained the engineer. But,
He's going here pretty quick.
Just keep going.
We get extended for 2 months. Till, when does that go till?
the original contract is entered into. August 29th, 2016.
Yeah.
So,
And
we would be extended to October 29th.
October, okay, that's.
We have the actual contract and then the engineer summary contract. Title one is Jack's recommendation of how he preferred contract book.
The other counties do contracts with their engineer, or the Jack say, or,
Not sure.
I think the employment contracts kind of ride the line where they're almost an independent contractor. So I'm not really sure whether we're better to have them as an employee or a contract person. Guess I'm unsure. Because we didn't do the contract route before, you said, right? Or we did?
We didn't. Evidently, we did it with Charlie, and I don't remember that. But then that was just rolled over, you said, didn't it? You did initially, and then it's rolled over.
Is there anything in there that, in that contract that needs to be,
But is this a sample from somebody?
That would be,
It says in Monona County here. To the best interest of Monona County. We hit the bottom of the first page.
Jack's attached suggested engineer contract for review.
Go ahead, number 6.
so this is the Jack, one with the Manila County?
The employment contract and agreement one is the current contract with Jack's comments and suggestions on that one.
Yeah. With the eliminated.
Forgot to change the note up.
Oh, you should update it.
Was it more than one place? Yeah, it is. Number 9.
Got a new job in Manila County.
Evidently, this is the one Monona County is in too.
That answers my other question.
Green County's Fremont County.
Yeah. Number 10's got Manila.
So if we do the new one, according to 13, and we don't have to do it again until he gives his notice, or we want to change it?
Well, we have the authority, the ability to, but if we take no action, then we'll do it automatically.
Yeah.
We don't have that provision currently.
And that's not in this one, Jason, in the old one?
Wait. Yes, no. Specifically, 16 to 18. 10.1 actually says, unless extended or renewed, contract terminates on any date. personnel policy then, but.
So Jack took the zoning thing out.
I don't know that the zoning was, as I looked at the contract, I don't see where it talks about zoning. I missed that.
He took the drainage coordinator out.
I don't think he took anything out, he would have highlighted and instructed, and it would have been on there, yeah.
On number 3, on the one that Jack has. I don't see
The
either.
old one has it.
The old one has it, the new one does not.
I guess I
Right, the three, yeah.
So is that something we'd want him to add in or leave out?
Yeah, this is just his example that he sent, so we could add and leave and change it however we want for our approval. That's what we're considering, I guess. My interest in putting this on the agenda was how do we want to, or do we want to conduct an evaluation? We want to use the performance evaluation and the self-evaluation tool that he gave us, or sheet that he gave us. And then set a time, each individually fill this out in our own opinions, and then set a time at the board meeting to meet with him. He has requested closed session previously and would like that to be honored in future evaluations.
So he'll get the self-evaluation before we have that as well, or,
That was my thought, is have him do the self-evaluation, each of us do the evaluation individually, and then at a meeting, using closed session, we could discuss it.
so would you do the self-evaluation before we did our evaluation? So we would review his self-evaluation before we did ours, or look at them both at the same time?
I hadn't thought of that, there may be value to that, or, I don't know.
The top one ours, and the bottom one his, or is it just all his?
This is all his, because the one's just the employee job performance one, and then the other one's that self-evaluation, where he gets to rate how he thinks he'll do on his position. I guess for me, I'd kind of like to review the self-evaluation before I fill out the other one. If that doesn't work, that's fine too.
I see both sides, I guess, I don't know that I wanna be swayed by what he thinks he's doing, I wanna evaluate, and then we can talk about it, if we need, but at the same time, it may spur something, why did I think Patty?
I just throwing that out there.
Well, how about we, do we have an identified timeframe we'd like to do meetings with him in? We could ask him to provide his self-evaluation to us a week prior to that meeting. And if we wanna use it in our evaluation.
But you don't have to look at it.
You don't, yeah.
But if you want to,
Is that a
you can.
reasonable
Yeah.
approach? Do we want to try to meet with him in 2 weeks or wait a month? To me, after the evaluation would be the time to say, how are we gonna get the contract looking, and is it gonna change?
So if we had it back by the 11th or something.
How old is the 11th through the 25th, look at your book, Butter?
Well, this is pretty open. 25th is the annexation fee number 9 hearing, that's about, ISAC's gonna be good, that's good. I've got it on the 25th, it's engineer employee contract.
Oh, so the contract at a point for the evaluation, or?
I'd like to do the evaluation.
Have that by the 11th.
Yeah.
We can look at that, and that'll give us,
that was my, that was.
I just want to review the self-evaluation and then.
We do the top page.
Yep.
Cause you know, it's really hard to fill something like that out when you don't work with them all the time.
Exactly. You don't want to know what I think of these things.
I think about the same thing.
Now, we would all like to fill out a self-evaluation.
You know, cause for him, he'd be a damn fool to put anything down unless it's exceptional.
Yeah. I don't know, I would tend to cause, really make me question.
I'm not big on these, so I'm a pet one
I'm
man.
not even.
Well, that's my question, is that what we want to do, or how are we gonna do this process, just not using this?
I could go without using this, that's just me.
I don't care one way or the other. We have to, if you wanna do it, we can do it, if we don't, I'm not for that too.
How, like, or what do we do if we don't use these forms?
Good question.
What do you mean?
How do you,
How does it look to do?
how do you assemble a review? I mean, we're obviously gonna talk about all these things as we review the performance anyway, but what are you grading them on, I guess?
We just during that actual evaluation, both sessions go through the contract and address point by point, or?
What's your top really?
What do you think, Leroy?
I think we just should have, well, first of all, the people that work with him, we can evaluate them better than we could.
Maybe we should give them the sheet
Right,
and
I think
review what they have to say.
Do we want all of them, or do we just do randomly select 6 or 8 of them or something?
And I would take the name off.
Yeah, I'd take the name off, so that way it's anonymous, or maybe not.
So otherwise retaliation.
Yeah, but he won't see these, will they?
This is for our,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can get Jackson on that. I just tend to put very little stock in something that's not fine. You won't put your name to something, I don't tend to give it very much weight, but personally.
That's the way I look at it, if you put your name on it, there's a good chance of retaliation.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He doesn't have access.
He doesn't have access.
But if they're filling it out, it's still in the back of their mind, will they see this or won't they?
He said they're not gonna see it. They sure supposed to see it.
So I filled out employee evaluations on my supervisors. I don't think they were anonymous, so I think I have to sign it.
And I do like the idea of signing it too, that.
I guess your point is how honest will they be
Yeah.
if they possibly think.
If there's an outside chance.
How many employees are down there?
Secondary road, like 16, 18, something like that.
Yeah, like I said, I have interest in getting the office. Personnel reviews, and then random.
Do like a half, get the office reviews, and then like 5 or so. Whoever wants to fill it out, 5 of you gotta fill it out.
Yeah, you pick the 5.
You pick the 5. That would be a lot more helpful to us, I think.
Yeah, because for me, filling this out, the stuff, I've worked with them on, he's done a good job.
Yeah.
That's just,
It'd be nice to hear what the rest of the people that work there, what their
yeah.
thoughts are.
See how satisfied they are.
Yep.
Okay, Denver, having,
Would it hurt for them and us to do it? I understand, I agree with you, I don't like these things, but maybe our 5 views will be completely different than the 5 views that come from the employee. don't know. Just a thought. If we both do it.
That makes sense for us to fill it out too, we'll see how we compare them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better be on the same page. huh?
Yeah.
So you guys content with having this on the ninth, or the 11th?
Yeah.
Ask that Aaron have a self-evaluation returned to us by the week prior. And we can distribute that and use it if you'd like, or not on our own. I guess I would prefer not to provide that to the staff that are reviewing self-evaluation.
Yeah.
That'd be trouble. Or could be. And then we'll want them to just return it to my box. We would give them envelopes, to put it in and put it in my box. And then they can scan it, since you guys want to put that prior to the meeting.
Works for me.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know that we need to vote on action on that. That's the process that
I think we should go with that road here.
motion to proceed with the evaluation in the manner discussed. Further comments or questions? All those in favor of that process, signify with aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Next, I don't know where to start on the weed destruction, weed approach, with that. Prior to any further action, I think it would be good to have further attorney review and have the engineer and the attorney available for further consideration.
I would agree with that.
But I currently have some concerns about authorizing the engineer to go ahead and take care of problem areas as we have in the past weeks. I would like to see if it should follow different steps rather than just, well, right now we've decided that we're gonna address those areas. So I personally would like a little more clarity. And having the ability and maybe doing that in time, I'm not opposed to, but
I think we still need to have the ability, because everybody else around us has the ability to.
Yep.
We're the only ones that don't have any ability at this point to do anything.
yeah. So I support the step we've taken in the past.
Yeah.
When it gets utilized is when I'm asking the question.
Yep. And that's my concern as well, is how do you put teeth into stuff, and what are the parameters of how I'm able to enforce whatever we decide to do.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Mike.
I asked Mark to send that sheet out that Ryan County sent me.
Yeah, we saw, yeah, I saw.
Pretty straightforward.
My conversation with the attorney at this point, he supported utilizing that resolution that Lyon County uses, but I'm more content or more in favor of waiting and discussing it further with their residents, or
Yeah.
getting some of the other questions answered, but
I'd make a motion to table that until we can get Nolan, Aaron up here to.
any other items specifically that you want answered by them, or, in preparation for that? I guess, to me, the code seems to indicate that we can send a notice. If it doesn't get taken care of, we can go out and do it and send costs, assess costs. I think clarification is desired on that.
Some clarification on control of the right of way. I'd like to get it from Nolan as well.
My question there was if we technically, probably say, own the right of way,
Yeah.
then how could we have gotten sued and lost for taking trees out of the edge?
Because when they put that road in,
They didn't get easement.
there was no easement.
Yeah.
That's how we got sued on that one. Whereas all the rest of our road, that's
I
something I would like to have no one clean up, because we do have a whole bunch of these roads in 2 or 3 townships that don't have easements on them.
That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know how that happened up by Harris when they did that paving. We had to move the road in because we didn't have an easement.
Yeah.
So
Makes yeah, that would be nice to have that taken care of.
It'd be nice to get that clean.
We've also had plenty of examples where we get easement in some places, and other places they actually purchase.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that with Tyler Avenue too, that
Yeah.
change that too easily.
But it'd be nice to just get some of that cleaned off the books. It's been on it for 100 some odd years. And it would really help us down the road with other road projects.
Oh, it would.
Where we run into these problems and end up having to narrow the road in.
Make life a lot easier, you know,
Full grade or.
Well, we have a motion and second to table that item. Any further discussion? And all those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That last is claims. We'll say conflict with claim 398 and 379.
398 for myself.
I'd make a motion to approve all of those two, or approve those two.
I'll second that.
426 is a construction one.
Okay.
Okay, what are you doing here?
Approving those two that just got
The
taken out.
398 and 379?
Approving 398 and 379 is a motion by Mr. Jones,
Yeah.
supported by Mike Schulte. Okay, we have a motion and support to approve claims 379 and 398. Further discussion on those? All those in favor of those two claims approval signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Abstain.
And Jerry and I will abstain on those. Claim 426 deals with Tyler Avenue construction.
So that's included 426?
That was not.
Oh, okay.
Know anything about that $500 weed eater they got? Is that a,
Okay, approved 398 and 379.
like an AR trimmer? Is
Yeah,
there
where's-
exactly
where's
what it
this-
is?
Okay, where's this 426 coming
I'm
in?
like, man, for an A&M weed eater, I'm sure
Deals
most of
with
those
construction on Tyler Avenue.
Right, so is that included with these or not? Oh, so why was that brought up? Right. So that number's not included? Okay, I'm confused.
I'll make a motion to approve the rest of them.
I'll second that.
Motion by Schulte for the remainder of the claims, support from Ms. Jones. That's in. All those in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. I will abstain on those.
Other business?
I just got one question, maybe it should be on the agenda. Can you, Jason, you're a member of Northwest Regional Health, right? Or whatever what do they call it?
Northwest Iowa Care Connection.
Yes.
For the regional.
You're on the seasons?
Yep.
I'm on Compass Point.
Yep.
What is the difference in the three?
Mental health is interested in making sure services are available for all
For their whole region.
residents within the region.
Seasons.
Seasons and Compass Point provide different services.
Different services.
to each different aspects.
What services does Seasons provide? Can I ask?
Mental health services.
Mental health too?
Yep. Kids, well, we got Camp Bottom, you know, with the kids for helping kids with their mental health needs.
Well, I know we all struggle with the same insurance issues and,
Oh, yeah.
I just was wondering one day, and this is thinking out of the box, way out of the box. We got a whole lot of administration in all three. Is there any way?
To come by now.
Yes.
I don't think the lady does.
No, I understand that, but to me, it's just, I mean, we struggle all the time with that, I'm just going, we're spending our money on administration, can't we get along? You know, because Seasons and Compass kind of fight for that same money, and
Like, you could combine, like, billing and some of that stuff.
actually, you think you could. You know, I'm laying together, and I'm just thinking about it, thinking, you know, isn't there some wasted money here, you know, but maybe there's no way to do it, and you're probably right.
We're still there, so maybe. if it's common sense, then nobody will have it. Can I just make a comment without it getting in the paper? Had a phone call yesterday.
No, joint one, that's,
That's
that's
it.
it.
I don't know if it's.
Oh, no, no.
Send it back tomorrow.
Okay, sorry.
I'm not sure why I threw this over there. So you should have the paper around it.
Is that for you?
I guess Jerry, just in response, is from the regional standpoint, state code is now telling us what regions have to do to address mental health concerns.
Okay.
Availability, items available for its residents. A lot of those may be able to be met by Compass Point or by Seasons, but that's not our concern.
Okay.
We're asking that who can and will address these concerns, and we may contract with them to support startup or ways that we can say that our residents have those services available.
I didn't know.
I just didn't get in trouble.
So I don't think from that level we'd really be able to
Okay.
effectively work in partnership.
Yeah, they don't get along.
No, that's what I mean, they don't get along at all, and, like I said, I know Seasons and Compass Point might be the same money, maybe they do too, but,
Because they go after the same grants.
you know, I'm just going, holy cow. Whatever.
You know, my comment, I got a phone call yesterday from Ryan's, and they've had a bus in town here for, well, when several first dropped theirs, and we brought one in to help, the challenge people. But anyway, it really doesn't pay for them to be here, so they aren't gonna pull the bus out, so,
Right.
yeah.
Is it because of?
With the two buses here, there's not.
Yeah, that was my question.
And it's been going down since the other bus took over.
Is that going well?
The other one, what we don't like about the other bus is like with the Hope Haven group, the community service bus will not turn in any government deal to get them to ride for free.
No.
So now they're gonna have to pay their own rides.
Wait, somebody looking at it.
Yeah, if you take that out of somebody that doesn't make squat to start
I
with,
know, it's still,
that's $1.50 each way, $3 a day, that's $15 a week. And somebody that doesn't make much, that's a lot of money.
So is that affecting our service to any of the rest of the towns?
No.
Or the rides provided?
The only thing is they're just pulling it out of here. And,
Simply gonna be able to pick that up.
yeah, they talked to him about it. Shook is not gonna lose his job, he'll be transferred to Shelton. And he's gonna drive out of Shelton, so that's not, but it's just, yeah,
So I understand that, right? The resident could still contact ride for a needed ride to say medical appointment.
and we do a lot of that to Sioux Falls. And Shelton will still be here to do that.
Yeah.
But it's just if you hear that they're pulling out, that's why it's not enough for, because both of them sit there and look at each other, so it doesn't just have one do it.
If that local service were not to continue on some point with rides.
They'll be back. Yeah,
There's
they'll be
not
back.
we're not.
All that was no situation.
No, it's not that they're gonna forget about us altogether, but if that does leave us, then they'll be back.
The only thing, I don't know how discussion will go at this afternoon's regional mental health meeting, but we do have the requests from Kossuth, Hancock, Winnebago, and Worth counties, which are all part of social services, Lincoln Lane they call it, to join our region, and Sioux and Plymouth, which are part of Sioux Rivers, which is going to be going away at the end of this next fiscal year. Currently, I intend to support allowing Sioux and Plymouth to join our region and not grow so big for those others were at this point. I won't promise anything in its entirety, because I'm curious what the discussion goes like this afternoon. Any thoughts or concerns with that line of thinking at this point from you guys?
I like it because if the board gets too big, you don't get anything done. 'Cause I'm on one of those.
Where will those people go if we don't pay?
They will either remain in their current region, or there is a region now to the south of them that essentially. The other concern I have with those four is they landlock Emmett, and the state has told us that they cannot stand on their own, they have to be in a contiguous mental health region, so Emmett would be forced to join our region along with those four. Actually, just Kossuth would force that. So that's another driving factor in my.
Is there any reason that they wanted to join our group versus some other nearby?
geography and similar construct of the counties and more rural aspect, I believe.
Does that make, does more reasonable, or
It makes more headache, but
just,
I don't know.
is it cost effective?
Well, as the code's written, we will remain at our 30-30 levy max regardless of who joins or who leaves or,
So that,
so we won't be subject to higher levy rate, but we have more people that we need, essentially will need service that it could impact that, so. I don't know for sure.
Will the Sioux try to run it?
Well, honestly, early on, I was quite concerned with bringing in, well, Sioux and Summit don't get along with Woodbury, and
Yeah.
there are two sides to every story, so I've had some initial real reservations with that. But ultimately, I think growing by 2 rather than 4 or 6 or 8 is preferable. But the,
But Woodbury,
other factors, I really believe that the state would come in and eventually say the Sioux and Plymouth will have to be part of our region. They're not gonna allow them to stand on their own. I don't think they'll put them in the region that Woodbury is going to. Those are the 2 options, so.
are there any other, counties that are that big, where they got like 8 counties together or anything like that, or no?
Well, this county social services is 21, and that's what these 4 are wanting to leave.
Okay.
Don't remember what some of the other ones are maybe around 8, 10. I think where Woodbury's going is probably around 12, 13.
So our magic number is what, 10 or something?
Who knows? And maybe it's possible to bring them in future years. They're not facing the same situation that Plymouth and Sioux are, that something has to happen for the next fiscal year.
Okay.
I think their counties want something to happen, but it's not as pressing.
So will they make that decision on those other pursuits and those other ones today too, or?
They're all on the agenda. I anticipate it just so that coming into budgetary years, planning, that they don't have, you have to relieve a region by December 1st or announce that, so rather than keep pushing it back closer and closer, they were wanting to give them a clear answer as soon as possible, but it's not mandatory that the answer today. I anticipate it like it will be. So, that's just an update. If you have real concerns, we're just sharing where we stand and why we like to support what we will.
So they'll get an update on Thursday at the season's meeting, because we'll have a bill there.
Going back to Jerry's question, Stevens recently instituted CP, Conservative Community Treatment 2, where it's more regional, it's more mobile, on mobile crisis. They're 2 different ones, so there are aspects of service that they're trying to provide that maybe weren't provided before, because the region is trying to make sure that they're available to our residents. It's not a seeking service, or seeking seasons effort in this. We're just saying this is what we need, who can provide it. Sorry to jump around. I've done all my stuff there.
On September 14th at 8:30, Jerry and I will be attending a trails update for our trail system. I think Nick's going to that as well. I gotta find a resident from Harris, a resident from Cheatham, to also attend. We got a couple from there. And as of, I think, today, we have that iSmile program through the early childhood development that helps out kids with dental checkups and all the rest of that stuff. So we had 3 dentists drop out of the taking of Medicaid enrollments. 2 of them in O'Brien and the one here in Osceola. Said we will no longer accept any Medicaid enrolled patients. And the ones that they do have will be dismissed from the practice. The reason too many no-shows, and the reimbursement rate.
Yeah, it's not good, but I can't blame them. I don't know how you run a practice, but,
No.
you know, it's not paying bills if there's.
So I don't know where people from this area who use that dentist office will go for Medicaid services. The other one, just that two in O'Brien County, it didn't say what towns they came out of, but they just said we will no longer accept any. And the other two in O'Brien said they're not accepting any for now, but may in the future.
Oh, they're not discharging.
O'Brien is not, but Osceola is. So you will no longer be able to get Medicaid services for dental in Osceola. So, yeah.
Fun news?
Yeah. That's good. I don't know where they go.
That reimbursement is,
Yeah. That's
I
all I
don't care
heard.
what you're talking about.
It's a mess.
I know, this is like two other, I don't even quite understand how, I just, some of these things are these, I mean, I think the other day, it's just, I would not recommend it.
Hopefully within the next 2 months, Dr. Wilson will go through her classes to be able to take the ambulance off.
Oh, here.
But she's got an interesting statement. It's a bunch of crap. But hopefully we'll know in the next couple of weeks. It was either go to Des Moines, she could probably run it this month. Yeah, September. Or if you waited until next month, then she could do the Spencer. So, and she liked the idea of Spencer a whole lot better.
That's all the other news I have. Anybody else?
Under courthouse, under other business, we're gonna have to decide, what we're gonna do with the windows once this is done. They are absolutely filthy. Inside, outside.
They got, they
Yeah,
got
you
window
oughta-
washer people.
You ought to see my side, it's ridiculous. So I don't know if there's people in the area. Ernie just says he can't handle it, and I understand, he can't do it himself, yeah, yeah.
I know the interstate bank gets some, just happened to see him sitting there the other day, he was center, I believe,
Once a month, I think,
Yeah, they come around every so often.
So we need somebody that has a bucket, you know, that can get way up on top.
yeah.
Do the stained glass window, that's pretty fragile, so that'll have to be done. But anyway, something for you guys to think about.
I think with the state bank, they don't have any kind of bunch of younger kids.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't be able to do that.
well, but they have a big, brand new pickup, it's got something glass on it, so they just,
A lot of those, they go around like businesses and just do that front. As far as going high, I don't think. But I don't
They
know.
got other groups, you know.
Well, the thing is, you gotta take these combinations all out, you know, it's not a big,
What would that cost?
Was there any looking into options and
yeah, he said he would, I just told him I wanted to bring it up to the board first, so. Yep.
consider?
just call them, like, if they can just see what they got, they can, maybe call them,
Sure.
maybe they can refer to somebody that if they can do it.
Sure.
I don't care who, yeah.
I will do it.
No,
I don't like heights.
I won't either.
I'm just sitting here thinking, the only other thought I had was, we've talked about replacing windows. Or just put that money towards replacing windows.
Well, but how quickly will we get that done? We're gonna put up with 30 minutes first.
So
I don't think Barb wants to help, well, you won't be.
You don't have to look out.
Yeah.
Looking out for the rest of the crew.
156 days and,
How many hours?
I got it on my phone.
Oh.
There's an app for that.
Yeah, I got it. Yep. But anyway,
Because
no,
I think we
it's
should,
something that has to be addressed.
and I also think we should look at the windows.
Or if
if we spent this much money on the building, we should keep it up.
It is on the new.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And as far as economic development, CMD now, or what was noted, but now CMD now, is that right?
Yeah. Just was yesterday, I walked in there, and they all wearing safety shirts.
Okay.
Yeah, the sign changes.
Yeah, that'll take a little while.
But their invoices are all saved.
And then will we need to address something later with those rebates for them?
Yeah, we'll have to look at it.
If that property ends up changing hands, but now they're gonna lease it from
Yeah, from the,
those of them.
I don't know if they're, how long they're gonna lease, I have no idea. If it's a year, 2 years, 5 years,
Just what they say.
I do too.
They got 26 stores or something. CME, or 36 stores, isn't it?
Stores.
Yeah,
It's like 36 or 39, something like that. See if there's like 30 employees out there, we'll move that.
Anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion. Or Leroy can make it, I'll second it.
Motion by Leroy, supported by Jones. All those in favor of adjournment, signify with aye.
Aye.